I feel that SERVAS has degenerated into a program for bourgeois middle-class society and not very concerned with the basic social problems that are causing war. In the beginning, when we were in Birmingham and we're talking about the future of SERVAS, we saw it as a system where young people who wanted to work for peace would go to other countries and learn ways that people were solving their problems in other countries. And that didn't go. We got so many travelers who hadn't thought about these issues. They weren't bad people, they were just uninformed and not awakened to life. They used this hospitality system and they overloaded the good hosts that I've succeeded in starting out with so many superficial visitors that the host resigned, and so the whole weight of the program gradually shifted over to low-cost hospitality. And today, SERVAS is struggling because they've built a bureaucracy of formalized dues for members and formal forms they have to fill in and so on. And coming in underneath are half a dozen low-cost free hospitality systems. And these organizations are growing because they don't have bureaucracy. The SERVAS Executive Committee travel around the world. That costs money. And then they have, every 3 years, they have the international gatherings. And it's degenerated into the point where half the people coming to that are supposed to be financed by SERVAS International. And all of that money comes out of the fees that they charge for travelers. So that as the cost of traveling, the cost of travel fees goes up, it eliminates some of the people who most need, are most interested in traveling to live simply and learn. And makes it easier for the people who have money and like comfort to use the system. So that it gradually shifts the balance of the whole program into a psychology that's, to me, almost opposite from what we started out to do.
I think the original idea of SERVAS, like you said yesterday and today, is really organizing, and also really we can help young people to do something.
Well, not help them, open the door for them.
Open the door for them.
Yeah.
Also, the travelers, they can participate in the community activities, also peace-building activities.
And that would give the SERVAS return travelers something to connect to.
That's right.
Every year we send out, what, 5,000 or so SERVAS travelers, don't we?
About that much, yes.
Yeah, and out of those, the majority of them are younger people. Mm-hmm. And they get home, they're not in a position to be offer hospitality, so SERVAS is no longer part of their lives.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And so we're losing members instead of gaining them. Mm-hmm. We had SERVAS Peace Builders teams in campuses around the world. SERVAS would be one of the most exciting and popular organizations on this planet.
I agree with you.
You know, maybe we could start another branch of SERVAS that had a very different policy. What I tell travelers, one girl was traveling to Europe, and you know, they're just out of college and they don't know what's in the world. Mm-hmm. And she wants to see as much of Europe as she can because she's got the money to go to Europe.
Right.
So she wants to visit 5 countries in 3 weeks. And I said, no way. I said, you're going to not see anything except outside the window of your Amtrak train.
Right.
can't I help you plan a trip where you really can see something? Oh no, she said, I got it all planned. But she called me up before she left, and she says, tell me some of the ideas you have for seeing more. And what I tell is, go to this town, rent a bicycle, and cycle out into the country. If you see somebody working in the fields, get off your bicycle and help them. And you'll never tell where that'll take you. Because I've done it. And one time I was going through Germany, and this fellow was harvesting potatoes, and I got out of my VW and I said to him in German, I said, you want some help? No thanks, he said. Well, I said, I've just been driving too much. I need to get a little exercise. I don't want to be paid. Well, in that case, he says, you're very welcome.
That's true.
And I showed him how we harvest potatoes in California, which he thought was very amusing, by putting the gunny sack on my belt and throwing the potatoes between my legs and dragging it along. He thought that was very funny. And he invited me home for supper, and I visited with his boy and looked at his, he told me about his school, and then I slept on his couch. It was a family, I asked about his life. He had a little piece of land, but he was also a factory worker.
I see.
And he gave me a little piece of a different side of the world that SERVAS wouldn't give me.
Actually, that activity, it should be real SERVAS activities.
It should be fundamental to SERVAS. Oh, I agree. How can we do it, though?
Well,
the establishment of SERVAS won't listen to us, I don't think.
Well, I'm sure nowadays, they try to listen.
You think so?
I think so.
That's good news if it's true.
Yeah, because the international SERVAS, I'm not sure. Before I go to approach to international SERVAS organizations, I'm going to approach to change Japan's SERVAS. If Japan's SERVAS change a little bit, then Asian SERVAS could be changed a little bit too, because many travelers come to Japan.
If you can change SERVAS Japan, it will be your toe in the door
to many other countries.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's the reason I think I don't approach international SERVAS first.
No,
I approach Japan SERVAS.
Right.
And then after that, then they can see how we're doing. We have to show them how we're doing.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the best way to do it.
An example is best,
That's
always
right.
the best.
So that after that, other people, other country can see how it's work. Going back to the basic philosophy of SERVAS. I think my thinking is that nowadays is missing the basic philosophy of SERVAS.
Basic?
Philosophy, basic ideas.
I was hoping we'd come to that before we finish.
Yeah, that's what I think is, we said the future of SERVAS. The future of SERVAS is going back to the basic of the original SERVAS ideas.
SERVAS has no future if it doesn't do that.
That's right.
Because these other travel organizations are better organized, less bureaucracy. They're just going around SERVAS in circles.
Right.
SERVAS has to have something unique it's offering.
Right.
Or it won't last.
I agree.